Hello, all my chickadees. Welcome back. Today we're going to be checking out Elevator Neighbor. Now, this is by the same dev who did Apartment 9. I had a lot of fun with that one. That was a little RPG Maker game that's still in development. That's really interesting, where you have like monster neighbors and you guys are all like investigating and stuff. But this is by the same dev. I was going to play Taste, but then I noticed they had this game that came out a little bit before it, and it looks like the same character. So I want to play this one first. It is shorter. It is a only one of any asset game. So we're gonna play this one first, and then we're gonna play Taste. So I'm probably gonna just roll them both up in the same video if it is about the same person, to keep them all connected. And we're gonna dive on in and see what's going on with this guy. He's cute. He looks cute. Let me see. Let me move out of the way so you get a full picture of him here. There we go. Look at him. He's cute. Is that like a... What is he holding? Is that like a cleaning rag, or has he got a glove on? But, alright, let's dive on in and see what this guy is all about. It wouldn't stop raining since that morning, and there was no escape after I got off the bus. The water seeped down to my socks, and I couldn't wait to get home and take them off. I fumbled with my keys. Hands felt too slippery against the cold metal. Oh, so we're already having a bad day. I was tired, annoyed and uncomfortable and soaking wet. I hated rainy seasons so much. Admittedly, I wasn't paying that much attention when I heard my neighbor's voice behind me, as he also seemed to rush into the building. We walked side by side, all the way to the elevator, complaining about the rain. Nothing was really said. I thought it didn't matter. It was just another day, nothing else. Once the elevator doors closed, I finally looked at him, and he was covered in blood. Boy! Boy! Why? Why? Is that your own blood? Is that your own blood? I highly doubt it somehow. Explain yourself. And he has gloves on. Nope, this ain't his own blood. I couldn't believe my eyes. His hoodie had more than just some minor splatters. There were big splotches of blood on his sleeve and torso. You're very cute, though. You're very cute. His hair wet, letting droplets roll down his cheeks. Hey, save? Oh, how does this work? Did I save? Oh, yeah, I did save. Okay, cool. Cool. Say something about the rain. Say something about the blood. We're gonna say nothing. We saw nothing. We saw absolutely nothing, okay? We're good. The uncomfortable silence was palpable, and my throat refused to make any sounds. We had been talking a few moments ago, and I wouldn't dare utter a word, frozen and paralyzed on my spot on the elevator. He keeps talking about the rain, and complaining about how wet all of his clothes are, but I say nothing, petrified. The elevator kept going up ever so slowly, and never have I regretted as much as the second to live on the last floor across this man. I questioned every interaction I ever had with him, and nothing stands out. He had always been a regular guy, but I couldn't help but doubt everything I knew. Hey. Oh, that's a knife. That's a knife. Buddy, please. We mean no harm. We're keeping your secret. His voice interrupted my thoughts when not even the thunder seemed to, get through to me. Say nothing. Oh, that pissed him off. He seemed annoyed at me, but I can't meet his eyes. We're deaf. Yeah. Always the rational man, but how could he act like normal in this sort of situation? Shouldn't he be worried I might do something? Say something? He looked at me in silence, concerned. Are you gonna kill me if I don't listen? The elevator is fine. Say nothing. He grumbled under his breath. Humans are all the same, he complained, frustrated and tired. Once we got to our floor, the doors opened and he left in a huff. He didn't bother looking back at me. From that day on, he never talked to me again. He started to avoid me more than I was avoiding him. I called the police and I knew a detective came by, but nothing happened. Everything went quiet. He would glare at me from a distance, but that's where this all ended. Ending 1. Forget about it. I mean, we lived. There's 3 endings, so we got ending 1. Okay, load game. But hey, it's really rainy outside, buddy. Every year is the same with this rain. Doesn't it ever stop? Do we really have to get used to it? He sighed, annoyed. I just can't get used to how rainy it gets. Every year I think I'm prepared, but nope. He sounds normal, just like he sounded normal, just like the man I know lives across my apartment. The elevator kept going up ever so slowly, and never have I regretted as much as the second to live on this. Okay. Hey. His voice interrupted my thoughts. Yeah? He smiled gently at me, but his face had blood rolling down, and I couldn't help but get more freaked out than before. We shouldn't be on the elevator. I think that with this storm, it's a matter of time before this old building loses power. He has a point. He has a very valid point on that. We should have took the stairs. Always the rational man. But how could he act like normal in this sort of situation? Shouldn't he be worried I might do something? Say something? He looked at me in silence, concerned. Are you gonna kill me if I don't listen? The elevator's fine. Are you sure? He asked again and let the elevator's door close. Well, I'm not leaving you inside here alone. In the past, he would have struck me as kind, but I wasn't sure anymore. Yeah, why don't you put that away, buddy? We got to our floor without a hitch, and once we waved goodbye to each other. I walked past my apartment doorstep and fell to my knees. I didn't want to believe any of it, but tomorrow came and everything was the same. The following days were exactly the same as they always were. He greeted me with a smile and made small talk on the elevator, then waved goodbye. Maybe I should forget about it. Maybe I'm just imagining things. Ending 2, just another day. Okay, he might be the apartment's resident serial killer, but I mean, at least he's nice to his neighbors. He's like, yeah, you know, we can just chat about everything. If you're not going to turn me in and you're chill, I'll be chill. We're good. Now let's see. We're probably going to die on this one, right? Only one ending left. Okay, let's see, skip. No, is that skip? No. Say something about the blood. Is anyone hurt? Oh, he's even got sharp teeth. Hey, buddy. He smiles at me without saying a word for too long, and the elevator wouldn't move fast enough. I asked, unsure on how my voice sounded. I wanted to believe it wasn't what it seemed. I wanted to believe that someone had gotten hurt or something, but that's just too much blood. What reason could he have to be covered in blood without rushing to a hospital? I was just dealing with an animal a friend brought from hunting. I don't know how to prepare something like that, so I made a mess. Had to get rid of most of the parts. I can barely cook normal beef. Dude, normally, I don't hunt. I'm not a hunter, but don't they normally drain the blood outside somewhere before taking it places? I'm doubting this, buddy. I don't think it was an animal. The elevator kept going up ever so slowly. Okay. Hey. His voice interrupted my thoughts when not even thunder seemed to get through to me. Yeah? Are you gonna kill me if I don't listen? And where did you get those sort of ideas from? His voice was raspy and scary. He smiled at me, and for the first time ever, I noticed his teeth were sharp and pointy like a shark. Humans are all the same, he complained, frustrated and tired. Once we got to our floor, the doors opened and he left in a huff. Didn't bother to look back at me. Oh, and he's still avoiding us. I still forget about it. How do I get the last ending? Okay, let's see. Say something about the blood. Say nothing. Say nothing? Ah, no, I didn't mean to skip that much. Okay, let's see. Say something about the blood. Say nothing. You can kill me if I don't listen. Oh, wait. No! No! I wanted to go back. Ah! Dang it. Hang on. Back to title screen. Sorry, I'm breaking the game here. Okay, load game from here. Say something about the blood. And then we say nothing. Say nothing. Oh man, I already forgot what I clicked. Are you gonna kill me if I don't listen? For a brief moment, I looked at him, and he flashed me a toothy smile while his eyes narrowed. Well, I can't do this. Dull bloods are the problem when they get scared. Before I could say anything, I felt a sharp pain in my gut. When I looked down, I saw the end of a knife sticking out of me. My shirt slowly became tinted and red. No harsh feelings, darling, but I need you to be quiet. You were nice. I will miss you. Ending 3, inconvenience. Okay, I wonder if this is like taking place in the same apartment as apartment 9. Cause he could Wait, is he one of the people that provide blood to everybody? Cause we looked at a flyer? Alright, so that's all with Elevator Neighbor. That was quite short, as we expected, so I'm just gonna roll into the next game, which I think is about the same guy. It's called Taste. Dude, what have you gotten up to now? New game. This was made for the 72-hour Murder Boy Mayhem. Okay. Wakey, wakey, sleepyhead. Come on, I don't have all day. My head pounded like the worst hangover I've had in years, and his voice was making it worse. I slowly opened my eyes to find myself in a tiny room with a man sitting on the table across from me. His eyes gleamed like the knife in his strange hand. Oh, new artwork of him! Look at him! That's the same guy, right? Yeah, that's the same guy. Well, look who finally decided to join the land of the living again. Sort of. You've been out for a few days. How are you feeling there? I tried to move, but I felt tight chains around my wrists binding me to the chair. I panicked. I tried forcefully to move again, but to no avail. Oh, look at his little shark teeth. Don't fight the restraints. You're not gonna hurt yourself, but it's annoying for me. I worked really hard today, so I don't want to move much. What's going on? What is this place? What are you gonna do to me? Valentin. You know, when you ask multiple questions, you're likely only to receive answers for only the last one, right? He smirked at me, looking down at me. Anyway, in order, I made dinner, my house. Nothing, I just need you to eat. What? What? Did he answer all the questions like that? Silence fell between us, and he just seemed to smile at me. I couldn't figure out what he was thinking or planning to do with me. It all seemed so strange. Was he planning to kill me or something like that? Was he enjoying this strange charade for some reason? The pain in my wrist started to make itself known, and in moving I felt the chains make a sound. Stop trying to move. I'm not above hitting a baby fawn. What do you want from me? From you? Honestly, nothing. It's not this. I'm not doing this for you. I'm doing it because his worship asked me to deal with a newborn, and nobody can say no to him. Any other questions? Well, yes. Then ask away. What the fuck? The man snorted before he started laughing quietly. His teeth were sharp and pointy like tiny blades in his mouth. His hand was blackened with nails like claws, and the way the light shined on him made everything else feel like a dream. Oh, that's why he was wearing those yellow gloves. Those gloves earlier, maybe to cover his hands in the first game. Well, then do you want the long version or the short version? Stop fucking with me. So, is our name Valentine? I could do a lot worse things than fuck with you. You don't even seem to understand the position you are in right now. I mean, truly. What does this look like to you? A kidnapping turned murder? That's child play to us. Your situation's a lot worse than that. It'll only get worse from now on, but you will have to learn to live with it. A cold chill ran down my spine and fear took over me. I wanted to talk back, but my mouth hung open like a fool and my teeth chattered, as if the room had suddenly gotten colder. Everything in my body was telling me to run, but I was tied to the spot in the room. Humans are so fun to mess with. What species are you, buddy? His voice suddenly lost the animosity, and he looked at me with pity. It's fun that newborns still keep this naivety to them. We might have to beat it out of you later, but that'll have to wait until after I'm back from work. Anyway, let me explain. Please do. I held my breath without noticing, waiting for an answer to whatever this was. You were attacked a few days ago. I don't know why. I don't know by who. Don't know where, and I don't care to know either. His worship found you and brought you to my and my roommate's home. We certainly didn't expect you to survive the transformation, but alas, you did. Congratulations on that. So now, you were in our changer, or as I like to call it, babysitting. Not my cup of tea, nor am I getting paid for it, but we can't say no to that man, and soon you will learn that neither can you. He stopped talking like that was all he had to say, but it made no sense. None of this did. What the hell are you talking about? It makes no fucking sense. Stranger? No. Don't you humans have a lot of movies about things like this? Okay, I think the names are getting mixed up here. Don't you humans have a lot of movies about things like this? Well, I guess it's mostly about vampires and the like. Sorry to disappoint, you are not a vampire now. That would make your life easier. You are held at a much higher regard than you or I. We are the very bottom of the food chain. He paused for a moment, thinking. Don't tell his worship I said that. What do you mean, vampires? Like I said, you are not a vampire. Then what the fuck am I? Why don't you look down? What? Look down at yourself. I did his order and looked down. My heart jumped out of my chest when I saw a snout where I shouldn't. Where I swear I shouldn't see my own should have seen my own nose. Whiskers on each side and a very obvious animal muzzle. We're a werewolf! I panicked, my heart beating so fast I swore it would leap out of my chest into the plate in front of me. I heard my own panicked panting and I couldn't recognize it. I sounded like a dog. Frantic, I looked at myself even more. My shirt was half ripped and instead of my skin I saw gray fur extending all the way down to my belt. My pants weren't my own but somehow fit my legs that were not so much bigger than before. I was horrified by my appearance and I pulled at the chain without thinking. Before long, I felt the strong zap of electricity around my neck, jolting me out of my frenzy. Humiliating how a dog collar fits you so well. He waved a little controller at me. What happened to me? I finally managed to cry. My voice faltered. As I said, you survived your transformation. What does that even mean? You're a werewolf, Harry. You know, you're a wizard, Harry. Sorry, I couldn't help it. He laughed at his own joke. What do you mean, werewolf? Stop fucking around and tell me. I mean it in the most literal way possible. You are a werewolf now, or no, more technically, a lycanthrope, since you became one due to infection and not magic. Your life as you know it is basically over, but lucky you, his worship seemed to like charity, and will sort everything you need from now on. Aren't you a lucky boy? What the? Stop fucking with me, explain! Wait, wasn't one of the guys from the other game by them called Valentine? In the apartment complex? Hang on. Oh my gosh, so this is about Valentine! Dude, Valentine is like one of the love interests in the apartment 9 that is still in development. His life turned completely upside down when he caught lycanthropy. He's barely adjusted to life as a werewolf when his packages start going missing. Oh my gosh. He needs to get to the bottom of this and get his medication lest he lose himself and become feral. Oh my gosh. Okay, I'm glad I remembered that. So this is a prequel. I love that these games are intertwined. I would love a game about Rue. Rue is my favorite from Apartment 9. But, okay. So this is a prequel. I don't think we see him. He's not one of the love interests. But he's got to be another resident of the apartment, right? What the? Stop fucking with me, explain. My voice wavers and my eyes swell with tears. Please? The man sitting across from me looked puzzled and almost confused. He didn't talk for what felt like eternity as I cried in silence. I guess I don't understand humans. Why are you crying now? I don't get it. You don't know what a werewolf even is. Are you sad before you know anything? What's your problem? Do you want to list in alphabetical or chronological order? Sassy? His jovial tone irked every bone in my body at the same time. And like a fool, I wanted to jump on him and wipe that smile off his face. He shocked me again without hesitation, and I slumped over my chair motionless. Now what? Now it's dinner time. You haven't eaten since your transformation, and your kind do not take well to hunger. I looked at him, puzzled, but he ignored me before getting up and dropping a plate of raw meat in front of me. I wanted to be disgusted, but my mouth watered at the sight, and I could smell the blood so clearly it was maddening. Eat? It's not easy to get human meat these days. So it wasn't a human in the first game, in Elevator Neighbor. It wasn't It wasn't an animal. I knew it. I knew you were lying. Was that one going on the same time as this one? So did he go and get the meat? Oh my gosh, he's one of the meat distributors that was in the advertisement on the wall, wasn't he? It's not easy to get human meat these days. Might be the only proper meal you'll have in a while. My heart sunk to my stomach as I heard his words. Human meat? What's the point in fucking with me now? Aren't I tied to this chair already? You can zap me whatever you want. What do you gain from doing this? I've been very clear this entire time, have I not? You're now a werewolf. Werewolves need human meat. I'm in charge of you from now on, and I've brought you human meat. The curtains sometimes are just blue. There's nothing here, darling. Oh, here's our choice. Haha, save. Let's... Don't eat. Oh, he isn't happy about that. My mouth watered at the sight of the meat sitting in front of me, waiting to be devoured. My eyes glued to it like a feral animal. The smell was driving me insane, but I just couldn't do it. I can't. The man frowned, but didn't say a word. He looked at me patiently, waiting for me to do something, but I couldn't bring myself to eat it. I felt that if I ate human flesh, I would lose myself, my humanity. I was human, not whatever he just said he was. I convinced my hazy mind that this was all a dream, that I simply imagined the snout and the fur. This was all a nightmare. I could wake up at any moment. I can wait here. I have all day, even if I have to skip work, but I don't think you understand that you don't. Stop fucking with me. I can't eat raw human flesh like this. You are insane. This is insane. He points the knife at me and his red eyes glare at me. Are you insane? I can't do this. Do you know what happens to bad boys that don't do as they're told? He asked as his sharp teeth glistened under the light. The knife, sharp edge shining, approaches my neck ever so slowly. I'm not eating human flesh. You are insane if you think I'm gonna believe any of this bullshit. Just let me go. You're making all of us waste precious time. So now, eat. His voice got louder and angrier, and I wished the ringing in my ears would wake me from this nightmare. But luck didn't seem to be on my side. Well, seems like you're gonna make things difficult for us all. The man stood in front of me, playing with his knife like it was a toy. He dangled it as he walked over towards me so slowly. I didn't know how horror could feel before, but every part of my body seemed to be glued to that chair at that moment. I wanted to fight the chains to free myself, but my body refused to move. My heart was beating so fast I couldn't hear my own thoughts inside my head. You know, I always wondered how pups like you taste. Just turned into a werewolf, but you were human just a few days ago. How does that affect the quality of the meat? Does it rearrange your organs inside of you? He asked out loud as his face got closer and closer to mine. His eyes were cold as ice, and the man I had been talking before was suddenly gone. I wanted to scream, to run, but I just sat there frozen in fear. I'm not one to be wasteful of food, but I'm not sure you are so edible for me. He hesitated as the knife reached my throat. He looked at me, up and down, with a hand touched his skin? Fur? His blackened hand was cold to the touch as his nails so sharp he cut me without even trying. Anyway, I have to go back to work, so I'll try to make this quick. He winked at me before walking behind me, sharp knife against my neck. The blade touches me so gently for a moment. Let's do a countdown. 4. Please stop. I finally managed to murmur. I can't hear you, he said in a I was right. I did that on a whim. I didn't know he was actually going to have a sing-song voice. He said in a sing-song mocking tone. 3. Please. I begged again. 2. I felt the pressure of the blade against my skin. The pain was immeasurable and... Ending 2. Good boys should eat their dinner. Okay, so we get murked. We get killed. Okay, let's be a good boy. Let's be a good boy. I stared at the man for what felt like an eternity again. I moved in my chair uncomfortable with my wrists still tied behind my back. How did this man really expect me to eat? My mouth watered like a desperate dog, and it felt humiliating. He looked at me, bored, and waited for me to make the first move. Untie me so I can eat. I was ashamed of my own words for some reason. How could I so easily accept something so horrid? But the hole in my stomach grumbled louder and louder. No way. You are tied exactly for this reason. I can't eat with my hands behind my back. A hand? I don't see most animals needing their hands to eat. I'm not a fucking dog. Well, now you are. Look at you. Oh, for fuck's sake. You're tied in case you go insane, dumbass. Do you think any of this is that simple? You turn into a being with a different nature and expect your brain to be okay with that? Just because you survived the transformation doesn't mean you're out of the woods yet. Eat the meat, and then we will talk. I looked down at the plate. The meat was raw and looked extremely fresh. Cut like this, it was easy to forget it was human. Maybe it was a sick joke he was playing on me and wanted to see how far he could push me. I choked on my thoughts. My mind was slowly becoming a haze to the smell of meat sitting in front of me, begging to be eaten. I slumped down enough for my mouth to reach the plate, and with difficulty, I took a bite. It was unclean and difficult. The meat was tender and easy to tear into, almost like ground meat. It felt like heaven as it went down my throat, and I wanted more. I finished the plate too fast. Silence. It inundated the room once more, and he looked at me with a serious face and waited. And now? His eyes gleamed with excitement and smiled at me gently. Well, congratulations. It seems I don't have to kill you now. You said you would explain things after eating. I did. Now explain everything, from the beginning, and stop leaving random shit behind. I'm not doing it on purpose. I'm not used to the ignorance humans have of our world. You see, I work in the underbelly of this city, so it's rare for me to even meet humans. I'm only doing this because he asked me to. That is not an explanation. Alright. Someone is sensitive today. You'll have a better answer when his worship comes back, but he is a busy man. In the meantime, this is all I know. Lycans are the only ones that can turn humans into werewolves, and they are very literally wolves with magical abilities. From my minimum understanding, some have enough magic to become sentient the way you and I are. Through magic, they can make humans and other species into that matter, into lycanthropes. This requires permanent markings and blah blah, I'm not a mage. Ooh, I wonder if that's gonna be like an ending in apartment 9, like us being turned into a wolf. But that's not what you are. I swear to God. I wouldn't do that if I were you. The gods above the likes of you or likes or you and do listen. The gods above the likes. Okay, pretty much the gods above do listen, and they tend to be quite mean. You're no longer under a human god's watch. As I was saying, all that is actually consensual. Someone willingly becomes a lycanthrope, and they give away the previous form to gain a pretty nice physical abilities. Player. But I didn't agree to it. If you'd let me talk. Go on. It is said that not all Lythans that acquire magic become sentient. Legend says that a few become feral. Not like actual feral. They are wolves to begin with. Feral as in a rabid animal. Desperate and hungry. Their bite carries a disease that turns humans like you against their will into this. Unlike lycanthropes, you are like your feral parent, filthy. Filth only teaches filth. And due to that, you are likely to go insane and lose yourself to these new instincts of yours once you taste meat for the first time. We're not sure much beyond that, but there's a medication that can help calm those feelings down enough for you to survive on animal meats. His worship, and subsequently me, and my roommate, will provide you with the underground doctors that will prescribe it to you. New housing arrangements, don't get your hopes up on that regard, and likely job prospects that are okay with your new predicament. You make it sound so easy. We are making it easy for you. Normally, for a human, it would be impossible to get to talk with any of these people, and eventually you'd become feral and attack other humans, trying to feed yourself, leaving a bloodbath behind. His worship wants to avoid that, so we make your life easier that way. But that doesn't explain why you're helping me. Okay, so, like, the apartment, there is, like, he's calling him your worship, but I think it's, like, a prince or a king or something that resides there. And everybody does, like, listen to him and really think highly of him. He, like, rules the apartment. So he really is, like, literally taking in guys that need help. It was like, okay, getting the other guys in the apartment to help. And you're like, yeah, I found this newly turned werewolf. Do you think you could feed him and check on him? And if he passes that, you can help me, like, set up jobs and everything. Yeah. This guy's like, yeah, okay. But that doesn't explain why you're helping me. It doesn't. No. Well, you'll understand more once you meet the man himself. Maybe you'll see for yourself that we can't say no to him. Whatever he says is law. Maybe you'll just need to feel it in your body to understand. You make him sound like a terrifying thing. Logically, it is. He doesn't need to order us to do anything at all. But it is terrifying how we are compelled to obey his every word. Luckily, this man is much nicer than the previous one. The old man was truly an asshole, so we are lucky, I guess. Well, time to get to work. He got up from his chair and sauntered behind me, and gently released the chains around my wrist. The loud clink of the chains made when they hit the floor resonated in the tiny room, and my ears were ringing. It'll take a while for you to get used to how sensitive all your senses are now. I got up from my chair, feeling my wrist and my head hit the lamp. I was so much taller than before, and the floor felt so distant. I felt like I was gonna fall. He laughed at my obvious discomfort, and walked out of the room humming a song to himself. Ending one. I guess this is my life now. Taste. It's called taste because we need to taste the human. Alright. Alrighty. That's the end of that one. Alright. I really like how all the games are, together. Or, like, tied in together. Because both of this has to do with the apartment. Because in the first one, they're talking about being in an apartment. And he's clearly not a human. And in the second one we played, Taste, it has to do with Valentine. And Valentine is a character in the apartment. And it's talking about the prince and everything. So that's really cool. It'd be lovely if the other characters got to have a their own individual game too. And I have no clue what the name of the our guy is. I mean, not our guy, but this guy. I have no clue what his name is. He's just roped into it. But, alright. Thank you all for joining me. I hope you enjoyed this. I'm glad I played the games together. It was an experience. And, yeah, you guys should definitely go check out Apartment 9 if you made it this far and you're more curious about this universe. And I'll see you guys next time. Bye!